HIT is a type of interval training. High intensity interval training incorporates several rounds that alternate between intense movements to significantly increase the heart rate to at least 80% of your maximum, followed by short periods of lower intensity movement. So, to break that down simply, you're going to work very hard for a short period of time, followed by an even shorter rest. These are the high intensity intervals that we're talking about. So, as seen here in the video, I'm going to do 20 seconds of basically max out rowing, and then I'm going to follow it by a 10-second break. These intervals can be as long or as short as you want. They could be several minutes, followed by a shorter period break, or they could be 20 seconds followed by 10 seconds. The key is that they're going to elevate your heart to 80% of your maximal heart rate. You want to be getting up into zone 4 or 5 when you're doing this high intensity interval training. It doesn't have to be on your first high interval, but by the time you've done several of them, your heart rate needs to be elevated. So, two major definitions here of high intensity interval training. First and foremost, that it's done in intervals, meaning that you go max effort or very, very intensely, and then you have a short period. That's the intervals. Secondly, it needs to lead to an escalation of your heart rate being 80% or zone 4 of your maximal heart rate. Again, if you haven't had a VO2 max, you won't know your exact maximal heart rate, so you won't be able to find that 80%. But generically, that means that your heart rate should be elevating to zone 4, which is 153 beats per minute. So, in this video, again, you see me doing the bike, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, and eventually this should lead to my heart rate being 153 beats per minute while doing it. The intervals can vary. I could be doing anything from 30 seconds on, 15 seconds off. I could be doing a minute on, 30 seconds off. You want to find the right pace for you, and you want to pace yourself appropriately that you're able to do this for a period of time. Remember, when you're doing high intensity interval trainings, this should be going on for several minutes at a minimum. So you don't want to burn out after you've only done an interval or two. You want to be able to sustain it for a period of time that you should pre-select. So for example, if I was to do high intensity interval training for 5 minutes, I want to be able to keep myself doing 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off for those 5 minutes and pushing myself that eventually my heart rate gets to the 153 beats per minute. The mechanism that you could use a rower, you could use a ski erg, you could use an assault bike. There's plenty of different ways to do this, but what's key is a high intensity interval followed by a shorter period of rest that raises your heart rate to 80% of max, or at least if you have not had a VO2 max, to at least zone 4, that's 153 beats per minute when doing HIT, high intensity interval training.